Alright, we're 5 days into the May Basho. Time for a quick strike! Alright, we're back with a quick strike, not a full episode of the Dohyo, but sort of an amuse-bouche to sort of digest what we have already seen in the first 5 days of the Basho. So, if you have not watched through day 5 of the May 2021 Basho, please stop, because there are spoilers ahead. The first thing I have noticed from day 1 to day 5 is that we have people in the audience again. I am not one who knows enough about the situation right now in Japan to make any sort of judgment statement on that, but it is nice as a sumo fan to see people in the stands. Start with some quick Juryo news. Everyone's favorite magical lotus prince, Enho, does not seem to be doing well down in Juryo 1. He's started 1 and 4 and has looked to have been hurting at 2 of his matches already. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in a bit. Ura and Tokushoryu, however, 2 of my favorites, are working their way back up to Makuuchi and are both at 4 and 1. So hopefully they're going to keep doing well and we will see them up in Makuuchi again next tournament. Come on, guys. Now, of course, our leader after 5 days is Terunofuji, and we're going to talk about him a little more at the end, and who may be likely to be able to knock him off the throne. But we have a lot of very cool 4-in-1s to talk about. And the first one I want to talk about is Tamawashi. Now, Tamawashi, of course, is the oldest guy in the top division. He's never gone Kyujo. And, of course, he's one of the people in sort of the twilight of the Hakuho era who's managed to, like, pop out and surprise win a Yusho. Quick sidebar. Now, when we talk about Tamawashi, we want to talk about the longevity and the fact that he won the tournament, but we also talk about the fact that he is very famous for using what we call the kotenage, or some people call the arm breaker, or the elbow breaker. It is not a very pleasant move, and if it is executed poorly, or if your opponent reacts poorly to the move, it can end up really, really hurting someone's elbow. Now, Tamawashi especially has been notorious for breaking some elbows in his day. And in fact, if you go back to Nagoya 2018, Tamawashi wins 3 matches with kotenage, and each one of those wrestlers who he put the kotenage on had to go Kyujo immediately after. But since Nagoya 2019, which was the tournament where he injured Takayasu, he had only pulled off 1 kotenage since then. Just 1. Now, I realize that this doesn't account for any times he tried it and failed to do it, as he did in Takayasu. He didn't actually get the kotenage. He ended up not being able to pull it off, hurting Takayasu and losing the match. But at least from the eye test, it looked like Tamawashi was using the arm breaker a little less. Until day 3, against Endo. Now, I'm very biased. I don't like kotenage and I don't like totari because I personally was injured in my high school wrestling days on a badly performed armbar, and I still can't extend this arm as fully as I used to before that accident. So is this something that could be solved with a rule, or would this sort of rule cause more harm than good? I leave it to you. Throw it down in the comments. What do you think? Quick sidebar. Now, for the other 4-in-1s that I would say we're going to watch, but we're not going to buy quite yet. I'd say Hideno Umi, looking very good at 4-in-1, but hasn't really faced anyone I would consider like an excellent quality opponent. Endo's looking really good at 4-in-1, but he's also been looking a little creaky lately in terms of injuries. Let's see if he gets bumped up a little bit later in the tournament. But Endo also has these runs sometimes where he looks really good for the first week of a tournament and then completely falls apart. Another watch, but don't buy, Mitakeyumi. He has started off excellent. He started off 4-in-1, losing only to Terunofuji, which is like not that big of a surprise considering how Terunofuji is wrestling. But I'm not quite willing to say he's back on, say, like an Ozeki run level Mitakeyumi yet, so we'll see what happens in the next 5 days. Onosho, I say, is a buy, but for only this tournament. He does not seem to be able to compete up at the Joy, and I think this is going to be a tournament. It's going to bump him up to the Joy, and then he's not going to do well. He's going to get bumped back down, and I think the rest of Onosho's year is going to be a very seesaw level year. A sell for this tournament, I'm going to sell on Daisho's Ozeki run. It's been 2 tournaments since he's won, and we haven't seen any of the same flashes that he showed, winning the entire Sanyaku en route to a 13-2 Yusho victory. I think Daisho's great. He's probably going to get Kachikoshi this tournament, and he's probably going to get Kachikoshi for the rest of the year, very close, but I don't think he's going to give us double digits regularly. I'd love to be wrong about that one, though. Daisho is very cool. In every tournament, we get one or two guys who it's just, they wrestle really well, but they're just facing really good opponents, and they win like one match or no matches. So that's like Meisei, Hokuto Fuji. You're doing great, guys, just you've been facing really, really tough opponents. You're going to do better in the second week. Now, if we remember in my bolder predictions, I predicted Wakataka Kage was going to get us an extra Komusubi slot next tournament, and he has done nothing to disprove that right now. He is 3-2, and he has faced all of the Ozeki and Takayasu. So he has faced literally the toughest 5 opponents he could face, and now he's done with them, and he has a winning record. I think he is on track to get 10 plus wins and force an extra Komusubi slot. Okay, Asanoyama has not looked that great. I predicted he was going to lose one of his first 3. He ended up losing 2, but he's managed to rally, and now he's 3-2. So he is still on track to get his normal 10 plus wins and loss to Terunofuji. Shodai is 4-1. He has not looked that great in all of his matches. Of course, he's thrown in a bit of the cartoon sumo, as we saw in the match versus Daisho. I still think he's going to get double-digit wins and is still in for the Junyu show. Takakeisho, 1 loss. I thought he'd get 13 wins, so he can still be on track for that. What's going to happen in the second week when the Ozeki start facing each other? That is where the rubber is going to meet the road. And then there's our leader, Terunofuji. Oh my goodness, what is going to happen here? Can anyone beat him? Yes, I think he's going to suffer some losses. I haven't seen anyone go into the match with Terunofuji and be like, this guy's got a real shot. So, here's one for you guys. Have we reached the point where Terunofuji is such an alpha dog, we expect him to win every match going in now? Or do we still expect him to lose like people like Takayasu or Takakeisho? Hit me up in the comments. Thanks for joining us here on the Dohyo for this quick strike. We will see you in 5 days.